Kort het in hierdie ryk vir die
Was dit
buitekant
jy?
af.
Kan julle van nie afskien?
Hy wil.
Ag, jy sal dit kan doen.
Mense kan doen man. Daar's
Jy
lekker.
kan
Good morning, goeiemorgen. I hope you enjoyed that quick snap look of the ski fields at Whakapapa. That's where we went a few weeks ago. Presumably there's still some snow on the mountains down there. Guys and girls, this morning I think it's time for you to drop your questions for me. Let me see. I've made it so that my personal Facebook page will also show me questions, or hopefully. So, all right. So, can everybody see me clearly? Is the volume then on there? We're in our new offices, but as you can see, the lightning or the light is not that good here. So I'll get some lights this morning, and I'll install some lights to make it a bit better for us to get the direct 30 minutes with Jan out there in a high quality fashion. So bear with me this morning. This will be the last morning that we have a bit of a darker, as you can see, there's a lot of light at the back, but not enough on my face. So, all right, this morning, elections. Are not like you used to it back in South Africa where the queues are for hours. We've already voted. All the voting is only on the 17th. We've already voted. You can walk in and vote. Sorry. You can just walk in and vote. And it's easy. They send you a little cardboard card through the post, and you walk into your local voting station, if you want to call it that, and give in your card, and they give you your piece of paper, and you go mark your it's not a cross, it's a tick this time, so it's a tick. And you vote for the right party that you think is the right party that will lead the country out of the debt that we are currently in. And that takes you on, and you're done. Quick as. There was no queues when we arrived. Myself and the wife went down to the locals voting station, only to hear they open up in about an hour's time. So we drove around to the next one. They were open, and then I think it took us 5 minutes. Walked in, walked out, and everything was done. So that was quick as. So on the other side, the weather, we had a brilliant day of sunshine, and that was the last one. Thereafter, it went bang. Weather went down, and it's been raining a bit, but it's good. We still need a lot of rain on the North Island. I hear the South Island has got enough rain currently. Always looks like it's raining more on the South Island than on the North Island. So that's a great thing for the guys that's down there. We on the North Island, we do have a dry summer to look forward to. It's normally a dry summer, and I think this summer is going to be even worse. The rain just hasn't been enough yet. So it looks like this weekend we could probably pop out to the Coromandel to catch a few fish there. We've got a few things to do on the boat before then, and if we can do a sea trial on Friday with the boat and see that everything is working, we can probably chuck the boat in the back and go all the way down to Coromandel to catch us a few snapper down there. So, yeah, that's where I could be heading. Like I said, could be heading this weekend. I've got these questions that a few people asked me. One of the questions was, is the borders going to open, or when is the borders going to open? Guys and girls, nobody knows. I think until after the 17th, which is the final day of election, until after that, no politician would really ever think to open his mouth to say, we are going to open the borders, because that could cost them votes. For some people would say, we're going to vote for that politician who opens the borders, and a lot of other people will say, are we not going to vote for a politician that opens the borders? So that's a bit of a catch-22 situation for them as well. They can't really make plans forward because they're now going to think about their, I want to put a nice word out there, they've got to think about themselves now. They're going to protect themselves. Just a little ticket down the bottom to say what I do. I'm not a financial, I am a financial advisor, but I'm not an immigration agent. So please, don't send me all these immigration questions. I try to get Vanita to answer some of them. She's always been good for me in that regard. So Yeah, thanks to Vanita for that. On the flip side, she actually sent me good news last night regarding somebody that we have been talked about a lot, and how they process was, and what happened that side on their application. So their application has come through, and it has been, I don't know if I can say it has been accepted by immigration, but it's been approved in principle. They were waiting for a few things, which is actually good news. It was a very difficult application. It's not your normal application. So there is still some stuff happening at the immigration. Like I said, stuff is still happening at the immigration offices, even though there's no new applications accepted from foreign or from offshore. So, question here from Michiel coming on: which web can he look to see regarding work down in New Zealand? Probably a good thing to look on TradeMe, look on Seek, look on our South African. What is this page name? The our main page. We're running currently. I think we're running on 8 or 9 different pages at this current moment. We're running this live feed there on 8 or 9 different pages. So on look at our main page. We often put up work down there, and thanks to everybody who responded on the work that we had for Microsoft certified trainers. So we had a lot of interest down there, and I think the employer at the end of the day can probably get a few quality people from that one small advert that they ran. So that was a great one. And we also had ran a carpenter position. I don't know what the feedback was there, because the people was willing to put their own email on that. Yep. Keep in mind, if we do run posts of work, we will do it on our main web, well, on our main Facebook page, not my personal page and not of any other pages. No reason other than it's just easier for us to keep the admin running in that way. So, is there any other questions? Let me see on the other side if there came any questions through there. There's somebody saying hi on this side. So, what else can we talk about this morning? Let's talk a bit about the future. What will the future look like for us? I do like my little cup. Wife got me this cup. The backside said, I might look like I'm listening to you, but in my head, I'm fishing. And most of the time, that probably is like that. So let's talk about the future. What will the future, the ideal future for me would be that the borders open around the beginning of December. That will be the ideal future for me. I know New Zealand bought 1,000 or 1.5 million vaccines. Presumably that will last for 750,000 people. So it looks like if you get a vaccine, you will have to take it twice. That's just what I could get from the news story. Why they didn't vote more, I don't know, or probably it could also be that the vaccine is still in a experimental phase. So yeah, that's a tough one. Do we get the vaccine? We can probably open as soon as everybody has been vaccinated. How long that will take? We'll also have a lot of people who do not want to be vaccinated. If I need to take an injection to get out of this country and go and tour again, I will take the injection. That's as easy as that. So that's just my thoughts on vaccines. If you've got other thoughts, good. If you don't want to take it, it's good. I don't mind. For me, the ideal world will be borders opening December, normal trade coming back, let's say, mid-December. And by normal trade, I mean tourists. Tourist is a main commodity in New Zealand. On our peaks, we run 10,000 people through Auckland on a daily basis. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of tourists. Some of them are visa people, some of them are residents, some of them are citizens, but on average, there's a lot of tourists coming through there. So 10,000 people running through Auckland Airport on a normal or on peak season is not bad. And I can promise you, Auckland Airport is empty. It's empty. So for a small country like this, and we've lost out on a winter tourist season, it's bad. We are going to lose out on a summer tourist season as well. The good thing probably is that on the flip side, that you can go to normal tourist attractions and be only Kiwis or New Zealanders down there. It could also mean that you could go to normal tourist attraction and still pay tourist fees, because a lot of these guys have lowered their prices, but I think they could have done more. I think they could have really lowered the prices uh, way down to normal standards. I mean, there's still places out there that's very expensive to go to. Luckily, in this beautiful country, there's so much to do that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. So that's one of the great things out there. You can actually take your car today. Let me say, from where I am now, I can within 10 minutes I can be at a beautiful waterfall, absolutely free. No money to go in there, no hassles, no problems. Nobody gonna attack me while I'm there. So within 10 minutes I can be at a beautiful waterfall. From my house, about 20 minutes. In a normal day, and it's now peak traffic here, so it could take about 10 minutes longer. But let's say 20 to 30 minutes, I could be on the beach. If I want to go to the mountains, about 15 minutes, I could be in the mountain. That is New Zealand, and New Zealand offers you so much, and this is all for free. You can let's talk about let's just put names to that, to the people who know the area. From here, driving to McLaren Falls Park, that is a beautiful park. Takes me about 15 minutes. Driving down to Papamoa Beach takes me about 20 minutes. Around the corner, waterfall, Te Puke, the suburbs of Papamoa. If you want to go and see how people living in close contact with each other, I go to Papamoa. I can just walk out my front door basically and have a look and see the whole mount as well. So I could actually stay at home and have a good view out of here. Michiel Bason asking, where can we go back on your live stream videos? Michiel, we run a YouTube channel as well, where after all these all get uploaded, and all of these videos that I do make, and all the chats we had with all the people out there, all of them is stuck on the main page. And on any page that you can see my video, all the other videos will be there. If you click on the left-hand side or look on the left-hand side, there is a little thing saying videos or photos, and you go in there and all the videos will be there. So all my previous chats with, we chatted with a lot of people through the years already, with teachers, immigration, Benita, all these people are all down there, all kept down there. So, okay, what else? Is there any other questions we have except for when will the borders open? Let me see any other comments. Congrats with Zahn and Elzan's engagement. Jan, do you follow SA News? Example, the Senekal issues. I thought, goodness me. I was hoping nobody would say the Senekal issue. I actually don't want to go there. I think the Senekal issue could be government orchestrated bloodbath, to be quite frank. That's going to happen in a day's time. We are currently already on the 15th. If you're in South Africa, you're still on the 14th. So then you're from South Africa 2 days from now. There's a lot of people saying go, and there's a lot of people saying don't go. I'm one of those people who say don't go. It's not that I'm weak. I just think if you go into where they are waiting for you. This could be the white Marikana of South Africa. For those who don't know what Marikana was where they lined up the miners under Ramaphosa, and they killed, about 30 or 40 or 50 of them, just killed them. This could be happening the same. Nobody said anything about Marikana, and the whole world's not going to say anything about Senekal as well. So that's just my thoughts. If you want to make a difference, there's a lot of other places to make a difference. Yeah. So let's step off from South Africa. Let's step back into New Zealand. Let's talk a bit about the upcoming holiday season. I don't know where you guys are in New Zealand. Holiday seasons here is normally quite hectic. If you are in Tauranga and you want to go down to the Mount during December, I would suggest either going very, very early, and I'm talking about like 6 o'clock early, or don't go at all, or park very far so you can walk. So, good question coming through here. Do you know anything about the South African pension funds being frozen? South African pension funds, I don't know if they have been frozen yet, but there's a lot of hiccups regarding that. there's a lot of problems on that. With the new laws that's coming into play, you will have to prove 3 years of income outside of South Africa before you can even financially immigrate. They're just basically making it more difficult for you to take your money out there. There is also a new law that's going to be implemented that are allowing government, and I think for the first round, to take 3% of your pension money. Now, you may think 3% is not a lot. Okay, I'll go back to the 3% now. To take 3% of your money, or to force whoever your money is with, to force them, because it's a pension fund, a retirement annuity, RA, as you guys call it down in South Africa, to take 3% of this money and invest it in a parastatal. Now, this is something run by government. Now, we know that government in South Africa cannot run anything. They cannot, I won't even allow them to change the tire of a wheelbarrow. But they are running stuff like SAL, bankrupt, Eskom, bankrupt. Call it, it's all bankrupt. There's not one government entity that's not fully bankrupt. There's not one government entity that haven't cost the taxpayers millions of money and nobody knows where the money went. That's sadly enough, that's money. Well, that's government. Now, they want to take your pension money and use 3% of that as an investment into this brilliantly run organizations. You might say, oh, okay, it's just 3%, thanks. 3% means 3 rand out of every 100 rand that you have saved. So you're already losing 3% of your growth. Let's say your growth in South Africa, which is normally not that bad, is about 7% or so. Let's say your growth was 7%. That means less 3% leaves you with 4%. But whoa, Corona was there. So your Corona, you had on a negative. Most of the South African funds ended up on negative after Corona. Some of them is busy getting better. So if you ended up, let's say, on a minus 10%, if you were in an aggressive fund, minus 10% is nothing. You are now on minus 13% because 3% is going into a government parastatal that I can promise you will never get your money back out of. Really. And you can say, oh, okay, it's just 3%, it's not too much. Eskom started off, I also think, with only a 3% increase. What did they get this year? 25%? It just went up and up and up. I knew on a certain stage, while I was still in South Africa, Eskom was taking 2 increases per year. That's how crazy it is. How long until they see, okay, the 3% didn't work out for us. Now we want 5%. Next year they want 15%. How can you stop them? There's just no way that you can stop them. Another question running up. Also, I haven't checked in for a while. Are the chosen candidates still in the running for some assistance from New Zealand side once border open later? Yep. I was driving yesterday back from Hamilton, and this was on my mind the whole time. To be quite frank, that was really on my mind. We ran, to those who don't know, we ran a candidate for New Zealand in the beginning of the year, where we chose, at the end of the day, we chose, I think, 10 candidates, and we could help them and bring them over and worked on their CVs for them and applied for positions for them to get them into New Zealand. I was lucky, my one guy, he was very quick off the mark. He arrived in New Zealand, old Doe, and he got a position. I will actually call him this morning to find out how he is. Last I heard, he was waiting for his visa, and presumably he has received his visa at the end of the day. But there was 9 other candidates that we could not help because of COVID. So I think once we know where we are with COVID, I think it's then probably time that we rerun something like this, because this is a good thing. This is really a good thing. This is something that we can help fellow South Africans out there. And please, guys, if you are in New Zealand and you know of any positions available and you know that your company will employ South Africans, and currently I know you can only employ South Africans in in New Zealand, not outside, in New Zealand. If you've got those type of openings, you're free to post them on our big main page. Just drop them in there. I will, without hesitation, allow those type of posts. It's quite important that we keep the jobs running. And let's get the best candidate for the job. It could also be that a Kiwi gets chosen because they are better at the job. That's fine. But at least we give our people a chance to also get into the work market. And there's a lot of great guys out there. There's quite a, I won't say a lot of people has lost their job due to COVID, but I have heard of a few South Africans who are struggling after COVID that have lost their jobs. And some of people have been, I can say, won't say downgraded, but they have lost a good portion of the income. I actually spoke to somebody the other day who are still on government grant type of income, and that's what the company are paying them. Which is not quite a lot. So also think if he can get another position, he will really look at jumping ship and going to work somewhere else. Yeah, to get back to work, I've been using a few tradies, and I can see these guys are busy. These guys are really, really busy. If you ask for anybody for quotes, it takes them 3-4 weeks before you get a quote. And it's due to the fact that they are so busy. They are absolutely ridiculously busy. So somewhere along the line, business is still running in New Zealand. Business is really doing good. And if you are back in South Africa and you think about what type of work do I need to get to New Zealand, if you're working with these things, this is gold. This is gold. This country needs more builders. They need more plumbers. They need more welders, electricians. They need more sparkies. Yeah, they do need the other stuff as well. They do need all the other positions as well. But really, the guys that gets the quickest help here. I'm thinking now past COVID, once the borders are open, if you are really in the position where you can work with your hands, that is probably the one thing that you should look at. Quick thing about, I know I've said this in the past already. I've always thought that being a hairdresser is easy. I've never cut hair, so I can't really say if it's an easy job or not an easy job. But I always thought, being a hairdresser is probably an easy job. So that's what my thoughts was. Do you know who gets the jobs in New Zealand? Hairdressers. Yeah? Ask a lawyer, put a lawyer and a hairdresser next to each other in a race to get a job in New Zealand. The hairdresser will already be working and the lawyer will still be sitting back in South Africa. So there's no such thing here as one job is better than the other. Everybody has got a job. Even the guy driving, what can we say? What's the worst? What's probably the worst type of job? Sewage farm diving. There's really a job like that. There's really a job like that. I also thought that that type of job won't probably be paying a lot. Believe it or not, those guys work in hazmat suits. They go underwater where your toilet water comes in, and they clear blockages down there, and they get paid a heck of a lot to go in there. So there's no real job out there, especially in New Zealand, that is a bad job, if you want to call it that. So yeah, think about it. Even the guy diving down in the sewage farms, he earns a heck of a lot of money. So, but even down in New Zealand, if you are in the position where you can do something that can really better the country with your hands, that's probably one of the best ways to get back into this country, and one of the easiest ways to arrive in New Zealand and to get a visa for that. Big thing is just to do this stuff right, guys. I'm not going to give you any immigration advice here. I'll rather ask Vanita to give us a bit of an advice as soon as the borders, or as soon as we think the borders will be opening. I'll ask Vanita back on the show and ask her to give us some advice on how to apply and for how do you watch out which company is the right company to look at. And I'll get her back on the show to do that. So rather me doing that. But remember, there's certain rules and regulations regarding these companies and what they must consist of, and the fact that they must be accredited. I had a bit of a chat yesterday to somebody as well regarding accreditation of companies. And I think from going forward, the new laws that has been passed the other day, all companies must be accredited before you are allowed to employ somebody from an offshore position. So let's keep that in mind. I had the question as well. I'm just thinking back. I had that question as well this week about somebody asking me, is it a good time to apply for positions now? And I wrote back to the person and said, yes, it's a good time to apply for a position now if you are in New Zealand. If you aren't in New Zealand, don't even worry about applying. Because all that you are doing, basically, if you are applying now, you're filling up that whole process of eliminating the candidates. Let's say they have 5 or 10 people from inside of New Zealand applying, and now 50 people from outside of New Zealand is also applying, but they're not saying where they are. I'm also always saying to people, don't tell people exactly where you are when you apply for a position. But now they've got to go through this, they've got to send you an email asking where you are. Then you say you're back in South Africa. That takes you out of the race because you cannot be employed now. So that just slows up the process. And it could be that those recruiters are smart people. They say, Koos van der Merwe. Next time you apply for the same position, they say, Koos van der Merwe, no, chuck him out. He's a chancer. So how real that will be, I don't know. But that's one of those scenarios I don't want to be in. So keep that in mind. Don't apply now. Don't apply now. I just saw, let me put this up here. I don't know who wrote this. Yes, so true. Jan Viljoen, New Zealand is busy being a real estate barefoot. Hit a record sales of 418 properties sold in 1 week during the last week. This is another problem. And I don't know how they are going to approach this problem. The main problem in New Zealand is there's no housing here. There's absolutely no housing. I spoke to about, 5 or 7 estate agents during the past 2 weeks. And they are all asking for houses. The first question is, do you have a house to sell? They don't ask, do you want to buy a house? They don't ask me, do you have buyers for me? They want, do you have a house to sell? They've got so many buyers. They've got so many people ready to buy, but they've got no stock. And this is not only in Tauranga. Tauranga is probably one of the worst off. I spoke to people North Shore, spoke to people in Howick area, spoke to people, 2-3 people in Tauranga. All has got the same story. No stock, no stock, no stock. Big problem that, eh? So they can basically make a killing selling houses, but they've got nothing to sell. It's like a farmer wanting to sell sheep, but he's got no sheep. So, yep, interesting. Let's bring that back to the fact that I say working with these stuff is gold. So if you can build houses and there is jobs available, you will probably be employed, because I think we're running out of a lot of areas where there's no more place to build. That's the other problem in New Zealand. I think they don't open up more places to build fast enough. That's also another big problem. So 418 properties sold in 1 week. That's not bad. It's well done. Well done to Barfoot there. Some free advertising for them. I'll give you my bank details later if you want to pay me for some advertising. That's we welcome. So, all right, 3 minutes to go. I see there's not a lot of other questions down there. Thanks to everybody who listened to me this morning. This nasty, I won't say nasty weather, this wet and rainy weather that we're having will last for another about a week or so. So, all right, quick advert on the side. Remember what we talked about last week. Remember the Women's Day in Tauranga. I'll once again pop that advert up here. We will be one of the main sponsors of that event, so keep that in mind. If you are in this area, or if you want to drive through from Hamilton, Whakatane, Auckland even, I mean, it's just around the corner, really. Driving time in New Zealand is the big thing. It's not the distance. I was actually thinking about that yesterday as I was driving. I drove for a long period of time, but I didn't drive that far. That makes more sense. All the twists and turns in the road, they keep your speed low, so you can't really go very fast. And then if you have to travel for 100 kilometers, that can take you 2 hours. Well, back in South Africa, you put foot, and 100 kilometers is done in about 40 minutes. So, all right. Guys and girls, thanks for listening to me. Next week, we are going to have somebody on the show that can give us a bit more information about work in New Zealand and what they have done. Somebody asking anything in the news about SA not playing championship rugby. There was a few comments made around the fact that SA is not going to play anymore. Presumably South Africa is going to play in the top half of the world now. They got afraid of New Zealand, so good thing. All right, guys and girls, you all know that I'm a staunch All Black supporter, and after all the Black Lives Matter problems in South Africa, I think I will stay an All Black supporter. Thanks for listening to me this morning, and enjoy. Have a lovely day. It's a bit wet out on the roads, and please, the guys driving through Welcome Bay, don't take out our electricity poles. We had a lot of problems on Monday. Somebody went around the corner and took out the whole pole and took them half a day just to erect another pole and get our electricity up and running again. So Monday morning passed by for me as the most boring morning in the world because I could do nothing. I could not get onto the internet. I had a Zoom study session that I could not really attend. I tried to for a bit, but then everything else also came down. All the cell phone towers went down as well. So, yep, please drive safely. You should drive through my neighborhood as well, any other neighborhood. There's a lot of people out there. Luckily, with the speed we drive in New Zealand, if you are involved in a crash, there's a good chance that you'll make it out. Guys and girls, that's me. Thanks a lot. Have a lovely day, and we see you next Thursday. Thanks for listening to me this morning. Bye-bye.